Paranormal events can leave an invisible scar that changes people forever. One of those scars being non-believers, judging them, calling them crazy, putting salt in the wound. Here's one subscriber's story that changed him forever. Enjoy. My first encounter with the paranormal happened when I was in kindergarten. There I was, just eating breakfast, like a normal morning, when I looked into the backyard, like I always did. That's when I saw a woman just walking in our backyard, dressed in something resembling biblical times. When I first saw her, I was calm. But after she disappeared, I became frightened. My teacher thought I had seen the Virgin Mary and that I was a blessed child. My brother, who wanted to scare me, told me it was a Bloody Mary. This is what started my fascination with the paranormal. Eventually, that fascination would bring me into grave danger that I had to fight my own way out of. I was only 12 or 13 at the time, and looking back, I still get chills. This was the first year that I realized my house was haunted. One night I had just woken up at around 2 or 3 a.m. I was confused as to why I woke up this early. I started to move, and as I remember something in the back of my mind telling me not to move. Fear was coursing through my veins as I looked around my room. That's when I saw him. A horrifying shadow figure wearing a hat in my doorway, staring at me with eyes milky white. I froze. I didn't want to move because I felt like he would know I was awake if I did. As I felt the sting of tears building in my eyes, I wiped them away. Realizing I had just moved, I shot up to see if he had noticed, and he was gone. I got up to check to see if it was my brother or father, but my fears grew when I realized they were sound asleep. A few weeks later, on a stormy Friday morning, my mother and brother went to breakfast while I stayed home playing video games. They thought I was sleeping. I had no idea this morning would change my life forever. I heard a familiar creaking from downstairs, which was the front door opening. I checked the driveway, and no one had come home. That's when Nellie, my dog, ran out of my room and down the stairs, barking like crazy. Then I remembered the man, and a seed of fear was planted. However, I was alone, and for all I knew, someone had just broken in. So instead of doing the smart thing and calling 911, I grabbed my airsoft pistol, loaded it, and started creeping down the stairs. I told my friend I was playing Halo with that I'd be right back. Famous last words. Every step in the dark wooden stairway caused my heart to beat louder and faster. I was shaking as I reached the bottom of the stairs. Now I was in the foyer. The front door was wide open. I closed it, and the adrenaline was pumping. Every sense I had seemed heightened. I started to walk slowly, gun aimed in front of me. I was expecting to see someone there. After checking every room except the basement, I decided to go down there last. I think we all know where this is going, because the goddamn basement is always a horror movie cliche. Looking back, I probably should have just locked the basement door. There's no other way out of the old basement. It almost looks like it was carved into the earth. If it didn't have a TV in my Nintendo 64, I would think it was a serial killer's lair. However, 13-year-old me was pretty stupid and went down the stairs to the basement. I got down into the basement and started looking around when the light turned off. I felt chills envelop my body as I bolted up the stairs screaming, "Oh, hell no." As I looked down the hall to my right, I saw the same figure from a few weeks earlier in my kitchen. I was as pale as a ghost. I screamed as I ran back to the stairs in the foyer and tripped, smashing my hip into the white tiled floor, the airsoft gun sliding into the next room. I cursed under my breath. Honestly, I'm surprised I didn't at least bruise my pelvis. I hit that tile hard. I looked behind me to see that he was right there. I jumped back, and at this point it was fight or flight. The latter seemed to cause the smartest course of action. I sprinted up the stairs as though my life depended on it, praying to Mother Mary that I would be okay. I tripped again at the top. I could feel my heart sink as every millisecond felt like hours. It was as though I was moving in slow motion. Finally, snapping out of it, I rolled instead of smashing into the floor again. A fantastic save, if I do say so myself. I got back into my room, slammed the door as hard as I could, and pushed some furniture in front of it so no one could get in. I got back on my video game headset, crying at my friend, who was very confused. Suddenly, banging on the door could be heard. My friend and I fell silent. I dared not mutter a single sound. I checked the driveway again. No one was home yet. I held my hand over my mouth to keep myself quiet, and that's when I heard the screaming. A man's voice was screaming at me from the other side of the door, just yelling absolute profanity and to let him in. My friend was freaking out in my ear because he could hear the voice over the mic. That's how I know I didn't make this up. Honestly, I thought I was going insane before he told me he heard it too. This went on for 20 minutes. After that, the banging and shouting stopped. I decided to check to see if he was gone. Slowly, I took down my barricade in front of my door and opened it. I wish I never did. The figure was right there. I screamed as I was hit by whatever this thing was. It scratched me and smacked me, pushing me closer to the back corner of my room. I don't really remember what happened after that. Everything sort of went black. I woke up to my friend trying to talk to me over the mic. I checked under my shirt to see if I was hurt. I had a few scratches that looked like they came from claws. The floorboards near my door creaked. "Mom?" I asked, clearly terrified beyond belief. It wasn't her, though. The figure just suddenly appeared. I started screaming at it to leave me alone and leave my house. It just came closer and closer, inch by inch. I was utterly petrified. As it was about to reach me, I heard a car door slam, followed by another. Finally, my mother was home. The second she got home, it all stopped. I composed myself and acted like everything was fine. Besides, who would believe me? After that day, I hung 3 crosses in my room. Though however many times I tell the story, it doesn't change the fact that there was no evidence at all of someone being there, except for the front door being wide open. I haven't seen this figure ever again. For a long time, I thought maybe it was after me because I come from a long line of psychics. But honestly, I don't think I'll ever know. What do you think you would do in the same situation? What could you do? Paranormal events often scar people for life, as they leave you with no answers, no way to defend yourself. Fear of telling others and being judged by them or being thought of as crazy is a large reason why many people keep it to themselves. And often, The person experiencing the event or events lives in constant fear of it happening again. If you have an experience you would like to see featured here, please email me at DuchessDark676@gmail.com. See you next time.